Tell Me Lies. Season 2 opens with everyone drifting back to campus after a long, messy summer. Lucy is trying her hardest to act completely unbothered by Steven, fully aware that nothing enrages a narcissist faster than indifference. The tactic works a little too well, pushing Steven into a quiet fury. Desperate to provoke her, he humiliates Lucy in front of Leo, the attractive new guy clearly interested in her. He finally gets the reaction he's been craving when Lucy shatters the expensive iPhone Diana's father bought him and threatens to destroy his life if he doesn't leave her alone. Rather than retreat, Steven takes it as a challenge. He signs up to be the teaching assistant for Lucy's new class, ensuring he stays firmly planted in her space. The constant pressure eventually overwhelms Lucy, and she's forced to drop the class altogether. Things between Bree and Evan are painfully tense, mostly because Evan is overcompensating to hide the fact that he cheated. Steven quickly figures out Evan stepped outside the relationship, but Evan is careful not to reveal that the other woman was Lucy. Even though Steven advises him to come clean, the emotional gap between Bree and Evan has already grown too wide to close. While enrolling in a poetry class to support Lucy, who is still reeling from last year's plagiarism scandal tied to her mother's affair, Bree meets the professor's husband, Oliver Brady. After Bree puts on an over-the-top damsel-in-distress performance to sneak into the full class, Oliver is immediately intrigued. They cross paths again on Bree's birthday, right after a blowout fight with Evan, who gifts her expensive jewelry that feels completely wrong for her. Feeling unseen and misunderstood, Bree vents to Oliver and realizes the attraction is mutual. When Evan finally confesses to cheating, Bree skips the breakdown and goes straight into Oliver's arms. The illusion shatters when Bree slips the earrings Evan bought her into Oliver's pocket after they hook up at a party hosted by Oliver and his wife, Marianne. Sensing Bree is becoming too emotionally invested, Oliver abruptly ends the affair, refusing to leave his marriage. Later, when Bree visits him to prove she can keep things casual, Marianne catches them together. In a truly unsettling reveal, Marianne admits they have an open marriage and that Oliver has been recounting every detail of the affair to her, reducing Bree to nothing more than a shared plaything. Bree eventually vents her rage by smashing Oliver's car with her friends and drops Marianne's class. Still, Marianne's comment about being glad Oliver didn't meet Lucy first strongly suggests this wasn't his first inappropriate entanglement with a student. This season also introduces a new dynamic with Lucy's childhood best friend Lydia, whose brother Chris enrolls at the college. Lucy takes Chris under her wing to help him settle in, but things spiral during a night out. Pippa has been ostracized and harassed by the football team, who blame her for Wrigley's heartbreak. So Lucy tries to help by setting her up with Chris. Unfortunately, he reveals himself to be a predator, attempting to take advantage of Pippa while she's blackout drunk. Although Diana steps in just in time to stop things from going further, a shaken Pippa refuses to acknowledge that anything happened. As Lucy starts seeing Diana in a new light, she confesses that Steven was the one driving the car the night Macy died. Diana struggles to accept the truth until Steven suffers a panic attack after his LSATs. At the hospital, a doctor notes that Steven has a healed fractured rib, likely caused by a violent impact with a steering wheel. This pushes Diana to snoop through Steven's laptop where she finds explicit photos Macy sent him. From that moment on, she begins carefully plotting her escape, knowing the only way to win with a narcissist is to make him leave you. She lies about failing her LSATs, sabotaging their plans to attend Yale together, and cutting off the recommendation Steven desperately needs. Then she orchestrates a humiliating dinner, where her card declines after she secretly places a hold on it herself. Since Steven values her only for what she provides, he dumps her without hesitation and immediately redirects his attention back to Lucy. From the future flash-forwards, we already know Lydia ends up engaged to Steven and completely estranged from Lucy, which makes this moment feel like the quiet beginning of the end of their lifelong bond. Steven retaliates by tearing apart Lucy's relationship with Leo, though in truth, Lucy unknowingly helps him along. Years of being lied to have trained her to constantly scan for warning signs, and she latches onto Leo's anger issues as proof something is wrong. Leo grew up in an abusive household where violence was the norm. His father abused both him and his mother, and the only time it stopped was when Leo finally fought back, leaving him convinced that aggression is the only language that works. He actually proves how much control he's gained during the most painfully awkward Thanksgiving dinner imaginable, when Steven tries to bait him into a humiliating drink and slap game. When that fails, Steven switches tactics and brings up Leo's ex, Becca, the girlfriend who cheated on him. Leo had already told Lucy about the cheating, but he left out one crucial detail. Becca cheated with Steven. That omission convinces Lucy that Leo is using her to get back at him. Exhausted by the constant suspicion, Leo finally ends things. With Leo gone, Steven shows up at Lucy's dorm shortly after his breakup with Diana. Lucy is the only person who has seen the ugliest parts of him and still cared, and he claims to feel the same way about her. He apologizes, admits his feelings, and gives Lucy exactly what she's always wanted to hear. They end up sleeping together. The next morning, reality crashes in. Lucy realizes she's made a huge mistake. This chaos isn't what she wants. It's Leo she actually needs. Determined to fix things, she goes to Leo, apologizes, and tells him she's done with Steven. They hook up, without Lucy even stopping to wash away the evidence of what she did earlier. Later, they attend a party where Steven spots them together, despite Lucy ignoring his calls. Without hesitation, Steven tells Leo that he slept with Lucy that very morning. The revelation sends Leo into a furious spiral that leaves Steven badly beaten. And somehow, that violence pulls Lucy right back into Steven's orbit. After Wrigley and Pippa break up, they eventually find their way back to each other. But Drew still hasn't spoken to his brother, which weighs heavily on Wrigley. Diana ultimately convinces Drew to visit him. The brothers spend the night drinking, reconnecting, and laughing, until they decide to split Wrigley's painkillers. Because the pills are time-release capsules, breaking them causes the full dose to hit at once. The next morning, Wrigley wakes up to find Drew dead from an overdose. This loss devastates Lucy, especially because she knows she made Drew's life miserable by writing that letter. She's on the verge of confessing when Steven steps in and takes full responsibility, leaving Lucy stunned. Just like that, his slate seems wiped clean. Even years later, their games never really stop. Because Steven once confessed to something so serious, Evan feels emboldened to finally admit that the woman he cheated on Bree with was Lucy. Steven appears unfazed and even reassures Evan when asked if he plans to use the information against him, saying, "Not today." But that calm is misleading. 7 years later, on Evan and Bree's wedding day, Steven sends Bree the recording of Evan's confession, destroying their marriage before it even begins. You can also check out the recap for Season 3, and thanks for watching.